Hey everyone, it's Liam. In this video, I'll give you a quick recap of the movie Shallow Hal. Warning, spoilers ahead. The movie begins with a little boy saying goodbye to his father, a priest who's on his deathbed. The doctor tells Hal's mother that it's not the best time, since they're keeping the father sedated to ease the pain. But she insists her son must say goodbye. Before passing away, the father gives his son one last piece of advice: to find himself the hottest girl out there, with a great chest and a firm butt. We jump forward a few years. Now, grown up, Hal spends his time club hopping with his best friend Mauricio, always chasing the next pretty face. The two brag that women are all over them and decide to chill out and have some drinks. Hal asks how things are going with Mauricio's girlfriend. Mauricio confesses he dumped her. Hal's shocked. He thought she was stunning. But Mauricio explains that she was only beautiful at first glance. One day he saw her barefoot, and her second toe was longer than her big toe. "I couldn't date a freak like that," he says. The next day, Hal expects a promotion at work, but his boss disappoints him. The position goes to some woman. Hal complains to his coworkers that everything's going wrong, no promotion, and even his neighbor Jill dumped him. Jean tells him there's nothing to cry about. Jill had nothing going for her besides her body. Hal doesn't get it. Archie tries to explain. Maybe Hal should stop chasing perfect-looking women, especially since he's not exactly a model himself. Later, Hal gets stuck in an elevator with TV personality Tony Robbins. While they're stuck, Hal shares his taste in women. Tony quickly sees the issue. Hal is completely obsessed with looks. So, Tony puts him under a kind of hypnotic suggestion. From now on, Hal will only see a woman's inner beauty, because real beauty, Tony says, is on the inside. He performs a quick ritual. After that, Hal heads outside and hails a cab. He notices a charming woman also trying to get a taxi and offers her his. She suggests they share it instead. Hal can't take his eyes off her the entire ride. He tells her she's incredibly attractive. The woman smiles and says she's from Boston, here to take care of her sick grandmother. They arrive at their stop and get out together. Hal realizes this might be his only chance, so he asks her out for a walk. She introduces herself as Katrina and agrees. She gives him her number and email. Can you imagine? Back then, people still carried a pen and notepad. Later, Hal and Mauricio are back at the club. Hal tells him all about Tony Robbins and how, after that session, he met the gorgeous Katrina. While Mauricio is in the bathroom, Hal heads to the dance floor with 3 girls. When Mauricio returns, he's horrified. Hal is dancing with a bunch of trolls. He quickly pulls his friend aside and points out how odd the women look. But Hal sees only beauty and insists Mauricio join them. He's already claimed the redhead for himself. The next morning, Hal spots another attractive woman and decides he can't let her get away. He follows her into a lingerie store. He makes a cheeky joke, asking why a girl like her needs a parachute. Or maybe her yacht's sail tore. The woman, Rosemary, thinks he's mocking her and tries to leave. Hal quickly apologizes and says he just wanted to meet her. They go to a pizzeria and Rosemary orders almost half the menu. Hal watches, stunned. Then the chair she's sitting on breaks and she falls to the floor. As they leave, 2 guys walking past joke, "Looks like the pizza place's food supply is gone." Hal assumes they're mocking him and follows them inside. He says, "I may be chubby, but outside, I've got a bombshell waiting for me. Something you guys will never have." Later, while walking through the park, Hal asks Rosemary for her number. She's shy, but says her number is in the phone book and gives him her last name. Turns out, she's the daughter of the president of the company Hal works at. Rosemary tells him that even if he never calls, she's still thankful for the lovely day they spent together. The next day, Hal heads to the park to meet Rosemary again. This time, Mauricio tags along. Just then, Linda, the same girl with the long index toe, shows up. She invites Mauricio to a Beatles concert, something regular people could never get into. But the moment Mauricio sees her toe again, he politely declines. At that moment, Hal spots Rosemary and points her out to Mauricio. He introduces them, but then Rosemary's phone rings and she steps away for a minute. Hal turns to Mauricio and asks, "So, she's a total snack, right?" Mauricio replies, "That's not a snack. That's a whole candy factory." Later that evening, Hal and Rosemary go for another walk. He invites her over to his place, but she declines. Hal confesses that he really likes her, but Rosemary doesn't believe him and walks away, clearly upset. The next day, Rosemary comes to Hal's place to apologize. They go out again and end up at a pool. Hal does a cannonball into the water, making Rosemary laugh. She then shows him how to do a real cannonball, the kind that launches even kids on the shore flying from the splash. Feeling more serious, Rosemary decides it's time for Hal to meet her parents. At dinner, Hal shares a few ideas for her father's company. Some of them actually impress Steve, her dad, and he invites Hal to present them at the next board meeting. When the women leave the room, Steve leans in and whispers to Hal, "You can stop pretending now." Pointing at Rosemary, he adds, "I know you're only dating her to move up the ladder." Later, Hal and Rosemary go to his place, and they spend the night together. The next morning, Rosemary leaves, and Hal's neighbor Jill sees her in the hallway. Jill later stops by to invite Hal over, but he politely declines. After the board meeting, Steve officially promotes Hal. Jean and Archie drop by his office with a cake to celebrate. Rosemary suddenly remembers she has a meeting with her dad and heads out, grabbing a slice to go. While Hal and Rosemary are off on a getaway, Mauricio finds Tony, the guy from the elevator. He begs Tony to undo the hypnosis before things go too far. Tony gives him a secret word that will bring Hal back to his normal self. Meanwhile, Hal and Rosemary are having dinner at a restaurant. The couch they're sitting on collapses under Rosemary's weight. Hal walks over to talk to the manager, a sweet young woman. Just then, Mauricio calls and says the secret word. When Hal returns to the table, he's stunned. In Rosemary's place sits a woman he doesn't recognize, and she's eating their food. He walks closer, confused, but Mauricio intercepts him and takes him outside. There, Mauricio explains everything. Tony hypnotized him, and all the gorgeous women Hal saw, they weren't actually that gorgeous. Hal refuses to believe it. Suddenly, Katrina, the girl from the taxi, shows up. Hal and Mauricio rush back home. Hal yells at his friend for ruining everything. He was happy with Rosemary, and now he probably won't even be able to look her in the eye. Mauricio feels terrible and offers to find Tony again to bring back the hypnosis. Until then, Hal must avoid seeing Rosemary, because if he does, no hypnosis will ever work again. A few days later, Jill invites Hal to dinner at a restaurant. While they're eating, Rosemary walks in with her parents. She sees Hal sitting with Jill, but doesn't say a word. She just walks past them. Jill flirts and suggests Hal take the food home. It tastes better in bed, but Hal declines. He's made up his mind. From now on, he's choosing women for their inner beauty, not what's on the outside. Hal steps out to call Rosemary, and suddenly runs into her in the hallway, but he does not recognize her. He just says hello and walks right past. Rosemary, holding back tears, walks outside. A moment later, she gets a call. It's Hal, saying he wants to see her. A few days pass. Hal finally asks Steve why he cannot get in touch with Rosemary. Steve tells him to leave her alone. He regrets ever believing there could be love between his daughter and Hal. And now, he says, Rosemary is leaving, with her ex-boyfriend, to work overseas with the Peace Corps. Hal rushes to the hospital where Rosemary works, but she is already gone. Instead, he sees a little girl named Catherine, the one he once met with Rosemary. Back then, she just seemed like a sweet kid. But now, without the hypnosis, he notices her face is covered in burn scars. Hal sits alone in the park. Mauricio finds him. He opens up and admits he's always been afraid of women because of a physical defect. Then, awkwardly, he shows Hal a tiny tail. Hal doesn't laugh. Instead, he asks Mauricio to take him to the Peace Corps headquarters. There, Hal meets two of Rosemary's co-workers. They tell him she's not there, her parents are throwing a farewell party for her. Hal jumps in a cab and races to her house. He storms inside and sees a woman. He thinks it's Rosemary. He's still never seen her without the hypnosis. And, believing it's her, he pours his heart out and kisses her. Just then, Rosemary's mother walks in. Hal says he is not leaving until he talks to Rosemary. Her mother does not object and asks the maid to let him go. Then they escort him to the backyard. And finally, in the garden, Hal sees the real Rosemary. He asks for forgiveness and confesses his love. She tells him it is all a bit awkward because she's flying out today for a full year. Hal replies, "I can't wait that long." So, he's going with her. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.
You like puppy dogs, do you?
Oh, anything to do with dogs, I melt.
We'll go around back. Get a little drink.
Sure.
Yeah, puppy, go.
It's a feeling that's fine.